Hi everyone, Daily Juice. So you're wondering whether you should file your own taxes or you should hire out and get some professional help. Typical question I get every year right around this time. I hope you already are working on getting your tax return prepared for whatever direction you're going to go. But I wanted to kind of ponder with you a little bit about this question. And so it really comes down to the answer that not many like, but I want to say it depends. So here's what it depends on. Hi Debbie, good to have you here. It depends on whether you have a complex tax return, right? How do you actually determine whether you have a complex tax return? Now, let me give you some pointers. Hi Yvonne, good to have you. So, hi Enrique, glad you're here. So, complex tax return versus a simple tax return. Let's start by looking at what kind of income do you generate? Do you work for someone else and you get a W-2 in terms of you get a paycheck and then at the end of the year you get a W-2 and there's no other income that comes in? That is considered to be a simple tax return. So if you're thinking about, and then the other side of this question is, do you want somebody to help you prepare your tax return, right? Because if that's all you've got, there are solutions such as online programs, TurboTax, H&R Block, Tax Act. They all allow you to they walk you through if you've never done it, and you can actually complete the return yourself, okay? Now, for those of you who have more complex situations, such as you might be self-employed, or maybe you are working as a contractor. A lot of us these days have side hustle jobs. Maybe you're driving for Uber or those kinds of activities where you actually may have W-2 income, right? You get a paycheck from your employer, but you also have side income coming in that comes in the form of 1099, right? Maybe you have real estate that gives you income every month. There's all kinds of other different income streams. So once you start getting into that space, that's what we call complexity, right? And for those of you who are self-employed or business owners, you probably want to consider hiring a professional, right? Either a CPA if you have a bookkeeper. Sometimes they are also in the space of preparing tax returns, because you want to make sure you're not overlooking opportunities you have as a business owner or someone who works for themselves. So that's my take on that. Now, some of you are even more advanced and want to play with those programs online and maybe perhaps then consult with a professional and say, hey, how does my tax return look? Have I overlooked something? So that's also a possibility. But I think the two categories are complex versus less complex. And that's probably the decision you want to make, because obviously everybody has a goal is to minimize the amount of taxes we're paying. So is it worth you paying somebody a small fee to help you figure this out? I think it is. And now, because we're going through a transition, right, into the new tax reform, I think it's probably particularly going to be more important next year when we get into the new law and new tax brackets and all the kinds of changes we've got. So I hope this is helpful, but whatever the situation is, let me know, reach out. If you need a referral, I'm happy to provide recommendations to folks that I know in my 5 or 6 local markets, as well as folks around the country. Thanks for joining me, and give it a thought whether you should file your own taxes. Talk to you soon.